Been reading and watching a lot of interviews about the AJ and Dubois fight. What happened, why did it happen? And I was watching Vidal talk about it with his trainer, Leon, and they make quite an interesting point that AJ went into Mandem mode. So in other words, AJ went into the fight seeing it as like a street fight, seeing it as the young guy trying to embarrass him, trying to beat him up, and he's got, no, I've got to put this guy in his place. And it brought me back to an interview I watched with Tom Aspinall, the interim heavyweight MMA champion, who said that one of the reasons he thinks he has so much success as an MMA fighter is he simply sees it as a sport. He doesn't see it as, a life or death fight. He just thinks, right, this is a sport. I've got to remember my training. I've got to win or I've got to lose. And he thinks that is why he's so successful. Because he doesn't, go in, get himself all worked up, forget all his training, and then, try and, hit him, knock him out, and then leave himself open. No, he goes in very calm, collected. I mean, obviously he's up for it because it's a fight, but he's thinking the whole time. He's thinking of his training. He's not overexerting too much energy. And I thought it was quite an interesting comparison to make to the Joshua Dubois fight, that Joshua just went in with completely the wrong energy. He should have used his boxing. He shouldn't have seen it as, a war, as a dogfight. So I thought that was just the first point I'd make, quite an interesting point, that did AJ give him with wrong mentality? I mean, I do find it a little bit annoying that everyone is sort of looking, not, I guess, sort of excuses or reasons for AJ's loss. Like, oh, he tripped on the ring walk. Oh, he took his gown off too soon and then put it back on again. It's like, no, like, Dubois was, like, incredible. Like, Dubois just won because he was, like, the better fighter on the night. But I thought that was an interesting take on looking at what, AJ maybe could have done better, As much as people said that AJ was winning the press conferences and the rematches, I think Dubois must have rattled him. Do you remember earlier when they had that first interview with Ade and Dubois went, you don't intimidate me. You can't intimidate me. That rattled Joshua. Like, people saw it as a win, but I think that rattled him. I think that rattled Joshua. And I think he was gone in going, right, I've got to prove this guy. I've got to knock him down early. I think he went in with the wrong mentality. And obviously his corner work didn't help. They'd start to see it as a fight to the death as well. They said, try and hit him with the uppercut. Whereas, Shane McGuigan said on commentary, no, that's a bad idea. Just move for 3 rounds, try and get a second wind. Because Vidal and Leon also made the point that Dubois probably couldn't fight like that for 12 rounds. He was exerting a lot of energy, especially as a big guy. So if AJ had just moved and waited and tried to get his breath back for a few rounds, he might have had more success with his second win, because there was clearly something there, right? Because he did land that shot just before he got knocked out, but it was just too soon. I did a video on the other day, like, should AJ try and work with Shane McGuigan? Like, Shane McGuigan's renowned as one of the best coaches in the UK. And it's one of the only trainers he hasn't really worked with yet, so just food for thought. Maybe that's something he could try. Vidal and Leon were like, they didn't think AJ should retire, They think he's just now a heavyweight contender. People just have to get used to not seeing him as a champion, which, yeah, I can kind of get. I mean, you've got people like Dillian White who have been knocked out quite a few times and just keep going. So I could definitely see their point of view. I said this yesterday, it depends on whether you look at him as like a fan, as a sportsman, or, if you're his family, you probably have 2 different opinions on it. As a sportsman, you're like, yeah, keep going, try and win your belt back. But if you're a family member or a friend, you're like, look, boxing can really damage you, can really give you head trauma, give you troubles in later life. You've won the belts, you've made the money, get out now, why not? So I think this argument's both ways. The second point I wanted to make was, what do we think of the referee? I can decide if the referee was good or not, because I had a bit of a problem with the ref in the Bakoli versus Anderson fight. Anderson was down, I think he was 3 times, wasn't it? He clearly wasn't winning the fight, but the ref just wouldn't stop it. And I thought the ref really should have jumped in earlier in that fight. But I wasn't sure with this fight if he was, if he left it too long or not, because end of the day, it is a world championship fight, right? You want to give both fighters, as much time as possible to fight on. And especially with such an occasion like this, you want to see a winner. You want to see a clear winner, right? So I can understand why he let AJ fight on for so long. Like the first few knockdowns, he did get up pretty quickly. And I think it was the end of the fourth, he probably could have stopped it. And then obviously it went into the fifth round where, you know, he had no choice but to stop it because AJ was clearly out of it. I think he could have waved it off. Like sometimes they wave it off for like 1 or 2, don't they? They just take a look and wave it off. So I was a bit surprised. He literally counted up to 10 and then he clearly still wasn't on his feet. So yeah, I just can't decide if it's a good thing or not. Like, I think from a fan perspective, it's good, right? Seeing these guys, you know, fight to the death, fighters get as much time as possible to recover. But these guys are taking damage, and I don't think you really could have complained if he ended it at the end of the fourth round. So yeah, I just thought, you know, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is this good refereeing? Is it bad refereeing? I'm not really sure. As I said, as a fan, it's great to see these guys fight on for as long as possible, but it's like, you do have to question, do these referees want to see these fighters die? Like, they just, yeah, kind of crazy how much they let go. But I think for a world champion fight, it's all right. But you can't be having those, I don't think you can be having that much leeway, you know, at these lower levels. You know, if you fight like that every fight, you know, you're gonna take on so much damage. It's, you know, you can't keep going. So yeah, I just thought I'd have a little chat about the ref. So yeah, that's all I really have to say today, looking at AJ's mentality and just a little bit of analysis on the ref. So yeah, leave me your thoughts in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.